Alright guys, so before we talk about these walls that we're going to be... I'm trying not to get you guys blinded by the sun, but I have a feeling it's not going to work until we get to where we're going. Anyways, so before we move on to the walls, let's talk a little bit about the church itself. The church itself is a newer, it's an eclectic Baroque, so it's kind of all haphazard and you can definitely see the different styles. It also is the only cathedral that Madrid has, and it's because it was not the seat of the religious capital of Spain for a long time. You have to have an archbishop. You have to have an archbishop before you can have a cathedral. Yeah, that's right. So they didn't have one. They had to fight to get one, and finally they did. And so finally they got a cathedral. They've got lots of churches, but not very many cathedrals. Actually, just one. I don't know why I said not many. It's beautiful, so definitely take a look. It's free to go in, which is great, because a lot of churches in Europe you have to pay to get in, or pay to take pictures at least. So that's a really cool thing, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning inside, so make sure you check out the crypt too. It was a little weird because they were having some sort of ceremony and they didn't announce it, so I was a little awkward, but other than that, it's all good. Now, onto the walls. If you can see behind me, see right there? Those are the walls of the ancient stronghold of Madrid. And they're very unique, and they're why Madrid was very hard to conquer. And it's because those stones are made of flint. And so if you don't know, flint when hit with metal, right? That's how you make fires. So these walls are made of flint. So every time metal would hit them, sparks, fire, you know, the drill. Hold on a second. I'm gonna switch hands, see if I can do this. Woo, okay, there we go. My arm was getting a little tired. So when the Christians came back to push back in to retake Spain from the Muslims, they found it very hard to take Madrid. And so the story goes, because I don't know if you can see, hold on, let me see if I can get some kitties. Hold on. Kitty, 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 kitty. So, first of all, you know how much I love cats. There are tons of cats down here. And the reason is the story I'm about to tell you. So, Christians are having problems getting in. Every time they try to hit it, fire, bad stuff. So this kid comes up and says, hey, I'll retake the city for you. And so the king was like, yeah, sure, whatever. But he said, no, I'll take it. And he said, you know, kind of jokingly, go ahead and like, do it. Show us you can take it. So the kid takes 2 knives and he actually sticks it in between in the mortar and crawls over the thing, sneaks through the city, opens the doors, lets the Christians in. So they started calling him El Gato, and El Gato means the cat. So hence all the beautiful kitties. Now the park itself, the little square down here, is open on the weekends, and so I don't know how friendly the cats are. I'm assuming with all the people that come in there, they're pretty darn friendly. So don't fear if you're like, oh, I really want to pet the cats. There are a lot of black cats too. I really appreciate that. Woo. Anyway, so it is open on the weekends, so you can go down and chill. It's kind of a nice little square. You can take some pictures up close and everything. So it's pretty cool, and maybe get to pet some kitties. They've actually got kittens, which is amazing. I love cats. So yeah, definitely check it out. If you're here on the weekend, for sure, come down, chill with the kitties, check out the wall, and check out the cathedral, because it's right next to you. So we're going to continue on with the next stop, and we'll talk a little bit about the Inquisition. My hopes were dashed, my love of the Inquisition, my love of study of weird, odd things. I know it sounds weird, guys. Don't judge me. It's cool. I just happen to find that stuff very interesting. But my tour guide dashed my hopes of all that. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I don't want to give you everything because I want you guys to come to Madrid. I want you guys to take the free tour, because you get a whole different insight to Madrid. All right, guys. So let's keep moving. guys, so we are sitting in Plaza de la Cruz Verde, which is basically the square of the Green Cross. And the Green Cross for us usually means when you see a sign like that, like that's a pharmacy. At least in Europe it does. But in the old days, it was the sign of the Inquisition. Now, remember I told you my tour guide dashed my hopes. The Spanish Inquisition was a little less as terrifying as you may think. The movies and other entities have glorified it and made it this gruesome thing, and yes, it was gruesome and there was torture and everything, but it wasn't as bad. There were only 3 tortures allowed. One was the rack, the second was basically waterboarding, and the third was like to be hung by your hands over towards the back of your head. So those were the 3 that were legal. And then as for judgments, once you were found guilty, you were either beheaded or burned alive. So, and I think she said something like they were for witches, they only really did 300, I think she said, according to the files and everything, which is way less than they did in Scotland for sure. Remember we talked about that in Scotland. Good old James, he liked to burn himself a witch. And so the Inquisition wasn't as bad. So I was planning in Sevilla to visit the Inquisition Museum, but she said it's horrible, it's not worth the money, so I'm probably not going to do that. We'll see if there's anything else kind of interesting. But it sounds so weird, I'm a little heartbroken that the Inquisition wasn't what I thought it was. You know me, I'm a little, I like strange things. So yeah, that's kind of what this square was about. It's called that because this would be where the Inquisition would come to announce that they were hearing testimonies on a particular crime, and that's why it is called Plaza de la Cruz Verde. So we're going to move on. I'm going to show you another square, and then another square, and then it should be about time for a snack, maybe, at least a drink, because we're going to try Spain's national liquor. What do you think it is? One little hint, it's not wine. All right, guys, we'll see you in a bit. All right, guys, we're gonna keep quiet because we're in the middle of some residencies, but welcome to Madrid's first main square. Yeah, not too big, right? So as the population expanded, they had to move the market, of course. It just couldn't handle everybody, so they moved it to a place called Plaza de Mayor, which will be coming up pretty soon. And it's a great place for food and has the largest tourist information center. So it's a great place to kind of end the old town. But we're just kind of walking through some back streets. I want you guys to not be afraid because honestly, except for pickpockets, it seems pretty pretty safe. Just pickpockets, be warned. It hasn't happened here, but actually in Barcelona on one of the tours, one of the girls got her phone pickpocketed. So just make sure you're cautious and aware, that's it. All right, let's head on to the next place.